My lovely family, before you scroll, just hold on small, because this thing no be ordinary gist. See guys, do you ever notice how some people show up not because they're genuinely interested, but because they're hunting for something to tear apart? It's wild, right? Like, imagine scrolling through your feed, seeing someone's work, and your first instinct isn't, wow, that's cool, or even just scrolling past, it's stopping, screenshot ready, waiting to find the flaw. And here's the kicker, the damage doesn't even stay contained. It ricochets. The person being mocked feels it, sure, but so do the people who believed in them, supported them, stood by them when things were quiet. Those supporters become collateral damage in someone else's need to feel superior. It's exhausting, honestly, and if you've ever been on either side of that equation, you know exactly how heavy that weight feels. But let's flip the script for a second, because not everything happening out here is doom and gloom. There are projects quietly thriving, growing in ways that don't scream for attention but build something real and lasting. You know the kind I mean, the ones that don't trend every week but somehow, 6 months later, you look up and realize they've doubled their reach, deepened their impact, created something people actually care about. Growth doesn't always announce itself with fireworks. Sometimes it's in the steady climb, the consistent effort, the belief that what's coming next will be even better because the foundation is solid. That kind of hope isn't loud, but it's powerful, and honestly, it's the kind of energy we need more of. Now, I didn't plan on getting into all this. Really, I didn't. But there's only so long you can watch the same cycle play out before staying silent starts to feel like being complicit. When you see the same behaviors, the same targeting, the same dismissive attitudes on repeat, at some point you have to ask yourself, am I okay with just watching this happen? And the answer, for me, became no. Because patterns don't break themselves. They keep going until someone points them out, until enough people say, hey, this isn't okay, and actually mean it. What really gets under my skin is the whole fake neutrality act. You know the type, the person who swears they're not picking sides, who acts like they're just observing from some high moral ground, but then every single comment they drop somehow manages to belittle one specific group. It's never direct enough to call out cleanly, but it's consistent enough that you know it's intentional. They'll throw out a joke here, a dismissive remark there, always with that little shade of, I'm just being honest, or, I'm not even a fan of anyone, I'm neutral. But neutrality doesn't have a pattern. Real neutrality doesn't consistently hurt the same people over and over. That's not observation, that's participation with plausible deniability. And then there are the people who literally spend their time checking numbers, refreshing pages, waiting for a dip or a plateau so they can swoop in with their commentary. Like, genuinely, what does that say about how you're spending your day? Sitting there, calculator out, ready to declare someone a failure because their view count isn't what you decided it should be. That's not analysis. That's not even critique. It's just mean-spirited scorekeeping disguised as having an opinion. And honestly, it reveals way more about the person doing it than it does about the person being mocked. Because if your joy comes from someone else's struggle, that's something you need to sort out internally, not project outward. Here's something we need to talk about more. Reducing everything to numbers is lazy and unfair. Creativity, impact, connection, these things can't be fully captured in a view count or a follower number. Sure, metrics matter in some contexts, but they are not the whole story. Someone could have 2 million views and change 10,000 lives. Someone else could have 10 million views and leave no real impression at all. Hard work, intention, the time and heart poured into something that matters. And when you strip all of that away and judge success purely by digits on a screen, you're not being objective. You're being reductive. You're ignoring the human element, the artistry, the effort. And that's just fundamentally unfair. Let's also be real about what 2 or 3 million organic views actually means. In a space where algorithms are unpredictable, we're reaching people genuinely, not through bots, not through manipulation, but through real connection, is harder than it's ever been. Those numbers aren't small. They represent real people choosing to engage, to watch, to care. And in an oversaturated landscape where everyone's fighting for attention, growing steadily and authentically is an achievement. Acting like it's nothing because it doesn't hit some arbitrary milestone you've decided matters. That's not critique. That's just dismissiveness wrapped in false expertise. So much of the unnecessary chaos we see comes down to fan wars and shipping culture being weaponized. People take what should be light-hearted, supporting someone you admire, enjoying content, and turn it into a battlefield. They create divisions where none need to exist, pit groups against each other, manufacture drama for engagement or just for the thrill of conflict. And the widest part, most of it is entirely fabricated. The vast majority of fans aren't out here trying to tear anyone down. They're just enjoying what they enjoy. But a loud, toxic minority can create enough noise to make it seem like everyone's at war, and that perception becomes the reality people respond to. Because here's the truth, most genuine supporters are just vibing. They're appreciating the work, they're showing up when they can, they're rooting for success without needing to step on someone else to feel good about it. They're not camped out in comment sections picking fights. They're not hate-watching content just to leave negative feedback. They're not monitoring every move someone makes so they can declare them irrelevant. Real fans don't have time for that. They are too busy actually enjoying the thing they claim to care about. But then you've got that small, vocal group that thrives on negativity. The ones pushing unhealthy competition, feeding division, making everything feel like a zero-sum game where one person's win has to be another person's loss. And the saddest part, the energy they put into tearing others down could be redirected into building something positive. Imagine if all that focus, all that time spent crafting the perfect insult or finding the worst angle to frame someone's work, was used to support, to uplift, to create. The difference it would make, not just for the people being supported, but for the people doing the supporting, would be massive. It's draining, honestly, to watch this happen over and over. To see talented people dismissed because they don't fit someone's narrow definition of success. To watch communities fracture because a few people decided conflict was more entertaining than collaboration. To feel like you have to defend the basic idea that people deserve respect and fair treatment, even when they are public figures, even when they are in competitive spaces. It shouldn't be this hard to just be decent. So here's where I land. If you're watching this video and you recognize yourself in the supportive camp, the people who show up because they genuinely care, who celebrate wins without needing to manufacture losses, keep doing that. Your energy matters more than you think. And if you recognize yourself in the other camp, the one that's been using negativity as a hobby, maybe take a second to ask why. What are you actually getting out of this? Because I promise you, there's a better way to spend your time and a healthier way to engage. Let's do better. Let's build instead of break. And if you've made it this far, drop a comment and let me know, have you seen this pattern too, or is it just me? Let's talk about it.